Caroline Jalango, founder of Crystals Talk, is an energy healer, a mega crystal and gemstone lover, a motivational and intuitive coach, Reiki master teacher, a spiritual seeker, and a lover of metaphysics. Through her work with crystals and other spiritual tools of awakening and consciousness, she helps others heal themselves, love themselves, awaken, and remember who they are. Radiant, magnificent, multidimensional conscious beings of light. And I was lucky enough to be introduced to Caroline from her wonderful YouTube videos. And I love her energy, and I love the way that she relates to the living energies of the stone. So welcome to the Crystal and Stone Guardians Telesummit, Caroline.
Thank you. That sounds so good. Thank you so much, Kim, for having me.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's just wonderful to have you be here. And I love the way that you relate to the crystals and stones. How did they come to be such an important part of your life, and how did you come to know them in this wonderful, intimate way?
You know, it's funny because the way I got into crystals was when I was really going through a terrible time in my life. I had never actually seen crystals until 2012. That was the first time I ever had an encounter with crystals. I was having a lot of emotional turmoil in my life. I had just come to an understanding of who I was as a person. I had broken away from my church or some spiritual beliefs that I previously held, and I was in this space that was this, what I would call a void. I was going through a lot of family drama, emotional drama, personal drama. I was wondering who I was and things like that. And the interesting thing is I'm usually a person who has dreams. I've always recorded my dreams. And every time I would dream about something interesting, I would write it down, and then I would Google it, and then try to figure out whether I could get information pertaining to that dream or something like that. So I had like an arsenal of dream books. So one day I started having dreams about crystals. And this is a person, remember, who had never seen what crystals were. I started seeing people coming into my dreams and giving me crystals, an orange crystal. And then one day I saw a unakite crystal. The person gave me a unakite crystal and told me that this crystal is going to be used to give you strength and energy in the days ahead. And I was like, what is a unakite crystal? So I went on the next morning, Googled it, and lo and behold, I saw the unakite crystal exactly the way it looked in my dream. And from that moment, I was hooked. You have no idea how fast I ran to get that crystal. Yeah, so that's how I got into crystals. My dreams led me to crystals, and that's why I completely believe in dreams and the power of dreams, and that they truly help us remember who we were in some lifetime and bring those resources and those friendships from the crystal consciousness back to help us now in these times. So that's how I got into crystals.
Oh, that's a great story. And how can we have the wonderful relationship with the stones that you do? What's your advice?
Yeah, it's so easy and it's such a fun thing for me. And that's why I'm even more excited to share about it. So one of the most important ways, or some of the most important ways to recognize and choose the crystals that are here to work with you is, of course, obviously, through dreams. If you've ever had a dream about crystals, that crystal is calling you so loudly. So that's one way to recognize crystals. If you've dreamt about crystals, remember, that is such an obvious way. Your subconscious mind is bringing that information to the fore. Another way is the obvious way. What crystals are you drawn to? You'll see a bunch of crystals if you walk into a crystal shop. So the most important thing is to feel what is the crystal that you're most drawn to. So that's an easy way which most of us do. And then what crystals do you keep seeing? You know, sometimes you keep seeing an amethyst. It's not an accident. Why are you only seeing amethyst? Why are you only seeing green crystals? Why are you only seeing a particular, maybe you'll be seeing a black tourmaline? That is a message. Don't buy the amethyst, get the black tourmaline that you're constantly seeing. So that's another way, the crystal that you're constantly seeing or coming up in your radar or reading about. And then, what is your favorite color of crystal? That can also be a sign. Some people like purple crystals. Some people like green crystals. Some people like yellow crystals. Some people like brown crystals or black crystals. So your favorite color can also be a good indicator of what crystal you are called to use at this particular time. And these things change. And then another way to do this is, what chakra are you intuitively drawn to? If you work with the chakra system, some people are more heart-centered, some people are focused more on their solar plexus area. So if you feel like you're constantly thinking about your throat or focused on your throat chakra, maybe you need to get blue stones or whichever stone you feel intuitively guided to use on your throat chakra, because sometimes it's just not about the color, it's just about the energy of the crystal coming in to work on your throat chakra. So you have to also think about what chakra are you intuitively drawn to, and then pick the crystal based either on the color or on the intuitive guidance that you get. And then you can also think about it as, what issue are you facing or experiencing in a given moment? So if you want to buy a crystal, think about, are you shy? Maybe read up about crystals that help with self-expression, self-confidence, self-worth, communication, and think, well, okay, maybe I'll get the blue crystal, or I'll get a crystal that works on my solar plexus or something. So based on what you're currently experiencing, choose a crystal. When I was experiencing terrible emotional turmoil, rhodonite helped me with emotional balance, and it just came into my life by dreams as usual. So rhodonite is one of the stones. So based on what you're currently experiencing, a crystal might come into your life, and try it if you're intuitively guided. If you're an aggressive person, what kind of crystal do you want? If you're angry, if you're fearful, if you feel emotionally scattered, ungrounded, hurt, grieving, pick your crystals based on the issues that you're facing, because those are signs that those are the crystals that are here to work with you at this time. And then also another way would be, what crystal feels like you? What crystal feels like your personality? What kind of depicts your situation? I remember, like, when I was really feeling at the bottom of the, I was just down there experiencing total grief and emotional turmoil, and loneliness, and I was so lost. I would go into crystal shops or gem and mineral shows and look for crystals that sort of represented who I looked like. So I would see lonely looking crystals, or crystals that nobody wanted to buy, and I would find myself gravitating towards those crystals. I would see them and feel myself in those crystals, and I would say, you know what, I'm going to buy this crystal because I know it's going to help me heal. I felt like that lonely crystal reflected exactly what I was feeling, and I felt like by taking it home, we would work through the process together. So somehow, I was always getting lonely crystals, raggedy looking crystals, miserable looking crystals, because they kind of fit who I was at that moment. I was not able to connect with happy, joyful crystals. And just by bringing those crystals home and holding them close to me and working with them close to me, I truly went through the recovery process. And these days, when I look at those crystals, I love them more than ever. I absolutely love them. They've been with me through the tough times. So that's something. Yeah, so that's one way you can also look, recognize and choose the crystals that are here to work with you. And then also, I started noticing that I was drawn to buying natural crystals, raw, natural stones, because I felt like they reflected my personality. This is who I was. I wasn't like those blingy, flashy, brilliant, happy crystals. I mean, I'm a happy person, but that wasn't my style. Usually I find that my personality is more earthy and more down to earth and more natural and more raw. So I find that when I buy crystals that are raw, in their natural raw form, I feel like those really resonate more with me because they're sort of who I am. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, so that's why I usually have a lot of raw stones. When I get them, they feel like me. So it's easy to flow with those kinds of stones because they understand me. Yeah, so that's another way you can look at your crystals. And then obviously we talked about dreaming about crystals. That's another way you shouldn't forget. And then also when you read about crystals in a book, or you hear someone talk about them, think about what crystal resonates with you, because the information you get from books might also jump out at you and stick with you and feel connected with your heart. So those are the crystals that you can read, because obviously people have different experiences with crystals, but when you go out there and you read something and it sticks with you, that's a sign for you to pay attention, especially when you keep feeling that that is the correct reason how that crystal is used. That is a way, or that is a crystal maybe you should get to help you in this time, or to help you recognize that this is a crystal that is calling out to you at this time. So you can get that information and that wisdom also from books. And then when someone gives you a crystal sometimes, you should wonder why. Why of all crystals in the world did this person give me a lapis lazuli, you know? They could have picked anything. If someone gives you a gift, sometimes you wonder, why on earth did this person, of all crystals in the store, why did this person have to pick this particular crystal? So when you receive that crystal and you feel connected and happy and your heart expanding and joyful to get that crystal baby in your hands, then you should know that this is a crystal that has been brought to your attention. So that's another way. Someone goes out of the blue, picks up a crystal, and gives it to you, and you feel amazing. That is a crystal that you should think about because it's here to work with you on a particular level. At the same time, the feeling of amazingness should not be the only way to go through recognizing what crystal is here in your life. You might feel averse to a crystal. The question you should ask yourself is, why am I feeling averse to the crystal? And receive that crystal into your life nonetheless. Because most people want to feel a feeling of joy and happiness, and which is great. But at the same time, we must remember that crystals are here to heal us and to transform our lives and to help us get back into balance. So if you're feeling averse to a crystal, maybe you should get that crystal, look at yourself, because in life everything is a mirror. Even crystals mirror back. Think, why do I have a rose quartz? Rose quartz might be a crystal that represents love. So when you get that crystal and you feel unloving, it's time to check yourself. What is it? Why is it that I'm feeling unloving about myself? And then work with that unloving state, dissolve it, and come back into a state of balance, and the state which you truly are, which is love. So crystals work either way. They bring you so much joy to reflect that back to you, and they might make you feel averse to them to help you deal with something, because it's about working. It's not magic. Crystals are not just magical tools. They are friends. They're transformative living consciousnesses. So we have to learn how to work with them, and once the truth of why they're here in our lives are revealed, then we ourselves can raise our vibrations and be the people that we really are. That is loving light beings who are so, so powerful. So also another way also is to maybe figure out, what are the first thoughts that you get? What are the impressions that you get when you see the crystal? When the crystal comes into your life, you might get a flash, intuitive insight about something very important. So that's another way to help you, recognize the crystal. You might get a message. Instantly you see a crystal and something just opens up. So what are those thoughts and impressions that come to your mind when you come into contact with these beautiful beings? And then also, what are the body signals, the feelings, the external reactions to a crystal that you have? When you get a crystal and hold it in your hands, do you feel hot or warm? Do you get that buzzing feeling? Do you feel expanded, awareness, an elevation of spirit, or joyful, immense love? You have to pay attention to all these things. Then you know that truly that is a crystal that's calling out your name. Like, you need to get it and stay with it and interact with it, and then transform your life as a result. Because I really think that is really the bottom line of everything. So that is one of the ways. Those are some of the ways that you can recognize the crystals that are here to work with you. And always know that when you're working with crystals, it's not a mind thing, it's not a logical thing. It could be a logical thing, but these days people are dropping back into their heart. You truly have to listen to your heart. Your heart knows best, like mother knows best or whatever. But your heart knows best. Yes, and your heart knows best. Your soul is here to guide you. And some of these things cannot even be quantified logically. Things are just happening, and you're experiencing things, and you're changing, and you're transforming, and there's no logic out there that can explain anything. So go with the flow. If you're a logical person, that's fine. But with that logic, there has to be a heart-centeredness, because we truly are people of the heart. We are people of love. And a lot of things cannot be explained by mathematics, although some can be explained, but it really has to come from the heart. That's where love is. So those are basically some of the ways that you can recognize the crystals that are here to assist you. So I'm just going to explain a little bit about how to bond intimately with your crystals. seriously, truly, I know in my heart of hearts, just from my own personal experience, which I like to talk about, and from that point of view, of my own personal experiences, crystals truly, truly are the most loving, conscious beings that I have ever interacted with. I cannot see myself being without these crystals, because they have shown me so much, they teach me so much, and I regard them as my friends and family. And the most important thing that I have learned is that the most clear way to engage with these crystals is to perceive them as your friends, as your family. They are not just objects. And coming from that point of view, you know you have an open heart. When you have a friendship with people, your heart opens up. You become warm and accepting, because you begin to see these beings as living consciousness that can elevate you, that you can listen to. It totally transforms the relationship when you approach it from a friendship point of view as opposed to an object point of view. There's an open intimacy. Then you're placed in a position where you can now listen, because this is your friend interacting with you. I'm going to listen. I'm going to open up my heart to you. I'm going to hear what you have to say, because you are perceiving this as a relationship with a live, conscious being who is your friend. It's just not an object anymore. And so that was one of the first things I learned about crystals, to know who they are, that they are friends, and they are my family. And based on that, I'm telling you, the crystals have opened me up in so many ways and taught me so much, and I just feel such love for them. And that is truly my truth, and it's so much easier for me to even convey crystal information based on that truth, that I'm talking about my friend. So it's no longer an object, it's me and my friend, and the lessons that they have taught me in my life. So crystals are friends, truly. When you have a friend, you have to ask yourself, you don't bump into them by design. Like you say, you have to recognize them and choose them. So it's never a friend. If you meet someone out there, you bump into them by design. It's never an accident. You might think it's an accident that you met someone. You might think it's an accident that you found that crystal, but it's never an accident. So that's how you relate with your friends, and that's how you meet your friends. When you meet your friends, you are drawn to their energy, their heart, their message. You want to recognize them, see them for who they really are, regardless of their outward appearance. That's how you interact with crystals. When you meet them, it's not an accident. You feel drawn to their energy. These are your friends, their heart, their message. So you want to find out more. You recognize them. See them for who they truly are, regardless of the outward appearance. You want to find out their names. What is this crystal called? What do they do? This is how you interact with your friends. You respect them. These are your friends. You respect them. You interact with them often. You just don't leave them aside. You have to call up your friends every now and then to figure out what's happening in their lives or what's going on, what's new. So this is the relationship you have with your crystals. You share your heart with them, with your friends. You sit with your crystal in meditation or interact with them. You might pose a question and then listen back to hear what the crystal has to say, because it's not just posing questions, it's listening to your friends. It's just like me and you talking, Kim. You'll pose a question to me and I'll answer it, because we're having a live interaction. That's the respect that's within the relationship. In the same way, you interact with crystals in that way. Then again, you follow their guidance and trust that your friend loves you so much and that the information that they're giving is helpful to you. So if I call up my friend, I'll ask a question and I know that what the crystal says or what my friend says will be useful to me. It's a loving interaction. It's a loving friendship. And I trust that and I run with it. So also at the same time, when you have friends, you don't regard them casually. They're just not there. When you have a friend, it's something much more intimate. Your friends leave an impact on you. And if you fail to recognize the importance of your friendship, you might miss the importance of why that friendship really was. And then you might ruin it and then think that, your friend was some kind of way, and yet it's you who never valued the relationship that you had with your crystal or with your friend. So in that same way, also, crystals are friends that you don't have to regard casually. There has to be some sort of seriousness about that interaction with crystals. It's serious, but at the same time, it's joyful and it's fun. Without joy and without love and without laughter in anything, I don't even think it's worth it, even in friendships.
Right,
also,
for sure. I was just going to say, how do you receive the communication from your crystal family? How does it come to you? Because I know everybody is different.
Yes, everybody is different, but usually for me, it just comes like there's always a telepathic communication. And maybe in the next few minutes, after I finish up on a last point or something, I'm going to just lead people in an active, interactive crystal meditation exercise to help them also figure out for themselves how to receive those crystal messages for themselves, because everyone is different. So perhaps maybe through the process, you can also figure out 1 or 2 steps that can be useful for you. Sounds good?
Sounds great.
Okay. So one more last thing about crystals that I want to say before I overlook it, which I really should not, because maybe my crystal will kill me, is that, don't judge any crystal by its cover. All rocks matter. All crystals that have come into your life are special. They all matter. And just like friends, you don't only have blingy or shiny friends in life, you know. You have friends from all walks of life. I mean, if you're open-hearted and you can interact with people from all walks of life. Just in the same way, you can have crystals from every strata, you know. It doesn't matter how they look. Don't judge them by their cover. You also have down-to-earth, practical friends. You can have creative friends, you know. Some crystals are creative. You can have friends who bring you fun and joy. You can have powerful friends, you know, very high vibe friends, very loving friends, authentic friends, dependable friends, spiritual friends, talkative friends, you know, quiet friends, cool, calm, and collected friends, and so forth. So you'll see that crystals have those same kinds of personalities. When you look at the crystals, you can always tell who's who. So that's why it's very important to know who your friends are. It's important to know who your friends are. The same way, it's important to know who your crystals are based on their personality. So you can call down. When you need practical, down-to-earth advice, you know which crystals to turn to. When you need high-powered friends to help you in a situation, you know which crystal to turn to. Someone who's dependable, someone who's going to tell you the truth. You know certain crystals will be able to do that. And that's the way that I've always done it with my crystals. I have found it to be very rewarding personal experience, and it's just, I believe it's only going to get better. Yes. So I think now I'm just going to maybe lead you and everyone else who's listening through an active meditation. I'm not going to call it a meditation really. It's sort of an exercise, but it's active because I want everyone to be sort of alert and noticing, but yet still being in a meditative state in the sense of listening. I once heard that prayer is asking, but meditation is listening. And I absolutely loved that because it helped me keep my mind shut down. You know, when your mind is all scattered and everything, I think meditation is listening, so therefore I have to really listen to what the crystal is saying. So this exercise is just going to be, you don't really have to be zoned out or anything, just be in deep awareness and concentration while having fun and enjoying the process. And some of the processes that I'm going to walk you through may not particularly apply to you, but they may at some point maybe apply to you, or they may apply to someone else. So you can just skip over those, but just use them as a point of reference if at some point in the future they become relevant to you. But we'll just go with the flow and have fun and be in our hearts, go into our heart spaces and just focus on getting to know these crystal friends and babies that we have now. So, since this is going to be a fun experience, my assumption is that you already have a crystal with you somewhere close. But if you don't, either pick a crystal intuitively or by design, or maybe think about that crystal that you love somewhere else. Maybe it's at home or whatever, or at work. Think about that crystal or have it in your mind's eye. And then if you have the actual physical crystal with you, you can hold it in your hand or place it on your heart area or on your third eye. I prefer placing them around my heart and third eye because it usually makes it easier for me to focus and be still and centered. However, you can place them on any area of your body that works for you because we all feel and experience things differently and are guided differently. So whatever works for you, it's fine by me. Okay, so we'll just go through the process. Okay, take a deep breath and just relax and relax and relax. So breathe in the color of the crystal you have selected for this exercise. Take a deep breath of the color of the crystal you have selected for this exercise. And then take another breath and visualize that crystal color moving from the crown of your head to your third eye, to your throat chakra, and then to your heart chakra. Yes. Since you will be listening or meditating on your crystal with your heart, pause for a second around your heart chakra area and feel your heart's excitement at the anticipation of the loving connection that is about to be made with your crystal baby. Feel your crystal hugging your heart area and just let your crystal color infuse your heart. Then slowly allow the crystal color to move into your solar plexus, then into your sacral chakra and into your root chakra. Now that you're fully infused with your crystal color and are at one with your chosen crystal, return to your heart space and begin to feel, see, and focus with your inner eyes on the crystal you have with you. What color are you seeing with your third eye? The color you see with your inner eye or third eye might be different from the color of your crystal, or it may be the same. It might be faint or bright. It might flicker or remain steady. It may be an expanded color, or it may be a smaller version of what you are seeing. You might even see a range of colors, or sparks of color, or swirls of color. The color might come forward for a minute and then disappear, and then come back again. Or you might not even see anything. You might just see total blackness, and black is fine. Or the color might even come at some point during this interaction exercise. So don't really worry about it if you can't see a color. Color is usually important because it may highlight what your focus should be, or what chakra needs work, or what the crystal wants to be used for, and so forth. So sometimes just going by color might help. So if you see a color, just notice it or write it down. If you don't see a color, that's fine. Okay, so with your focus still on the crystal and on your heart area, everything comes from the heart. Is there an image popping up in your heart or mind's eye right now? Do you see an image of anything right now? What is that image about? Is that image related to you, another person, an event, an action, a memory? Just notice it and listen without judgment. Are any ideas or impressions coming through about something new or something that you need to do? Are you getting inspiration about something while listening to your heart and to the crystal? How about thoughts? What thoughts are coming up for you? What is that thought about? Is it about you, another person, an event, a memory, an action you need to take to resolve a situation? Just notice. Are the thoughts or impressions you are getting giving you any direction, insight, or guidance? What is the guidance or message that is coming through? Listen and trust that you are being guided. Is that message or guidance a word? Because sometimes you don't have to get a long sentence. Is it a word? If so, what is the word? Notice it. Is the message a phrase? If it is, what is the phrase? Is it a sentence? If it is, what is the sentence? Who is the message about? What does it pertain to? If you are not sure, listen again and see if something clarifying comes up. Okay. Now, let's move on because the crystals sometimes have more to say. And what we really want is to find out what that something more is, right? Okay. So now, bring your attention to your feelings. How are you feeling right now? Notice, how are you feeling right now? How is the crystal making you feel? What emotion or emotions are you experiencing? Notice it and acknowledge the emotions you're feeling without judgment. Even if you're thinking that the emotion has nothing to do with you, remember there is no accident and the crystal is unearthing something that you may need to work on, deal with, and release. Or depending on the situation, it could be highlighting something that you need to experience more of, like love and joy and laughter and peace. So notice everything. Are you being guided to focus on a particular emotion? What is that emotion? Anger, forgiveness, resentment, bitterness, love, joy, peace. Notice how you're feeling. And remember that crystals are here to help you transform your life and that all is well. As the emotions are coming up, notice what person, place, event, or memory that's associated with the emotions that are coming through. If you're feeling anger, do you see someone else's face? Is it your face? Is it someone's face? Notice. What is your relationship with this person? Do you need to pick up the phone and call this person? Is there an activity that this person reminds you of that maybe you need to pay attention to? Do you need to send love or healing to this person? Notice everything. Keep your focus on your crystal and your heart. And become aware of your body. Notice if a specific part of your body is reacting to the emotion you might be experiencing. Are you feeling something around your heart area? Is it your solar plexus? Is it your throat chakra? Notice. Do you feel your heart constricting or expanding? Do you feel anxiety or a sinking feeling in your heart or your solar plexus? Do you feel joy or warmth, constricting throat, tears streaming down your cheeks, tears of joy, I hope? Are you feeling connected right now or disconnected? Are you feeling powerful or not powerful? Notice everything. Crystals have a way of making you feel a certain kind of way when you're engaging with them in a very interactive manner. So notice everything. Is there a reaction in any part of your body? What physical sensations are you noticing? How is your body reacting or responding? Are you buzzing, getting goosebumps? Are you feeling hot, cold? Are you feeling nothing? Is your heart racing? Is it pulsating louder? Are you feeling comfortable or uncomfortable? If you're feeling discomfort, what is that discomfort about? Listen, notice, be aware. Are any of your chakras being highlighted right now? Is it your root chakra, your sacral chakra, your solar plexus, your heart chakra, your throat, your third eye, your crown chakra? Keep noticing everything, and even as we go along, keep noticing if something we have previously touched on is now beginning to surface for you. Keep being aware. Are you now seeing an image? Are you now seeing a different color? Are you now hearing a thought, a word, a message? Are you experiencing a feeling right now? Are you being reminded of a dream you once held or that you are holding in your heart right now? Notice everything. Are you seeing a past issue or a future issue? So we'll go back to the color of your crystal for a minute. That crystal that you have with you, what does that crystal color mean to you? Look at that crystal and look at it again. Why did you pick that specific crystal color? What does it mean? Is it a chakra color? And what is your connection to that chakra? What organ lies within the vicinity of that chakra? What body organ lies within the vicinity of that chakra? And what's going on in that organ? Can you feel? Do you know? What issue does that chakra govern? What is your personal situation with that issue? Very useful information. If you can get that information from this meditation, that would be awesome. For example, if the chakra in question is your heart chakra, you might think, what person, case, event, or memory needs resolving? What is going on with your heart? Is there grief, sorrow, joy? The crystal might highlight that for you. And also, since we are multidimensional beings, it's sometimes useful, especially when you're in deep meditation, to notice whether you are transcending this current dimension. There are certain crystals that come into your life, and the moment they interact with your energy field, you totally feel that shift upward. So if you have a crystal like that, are you still with us here right now? Or have you tapped into something on a higher realm? Notice whether the specific crystal you're bonding with can be used to help you connect with beings from other races and realms. And then now, since you have gleaned a lot of information from the crystal, slowly place your hands on your chest and thank your heart for connecting you with truth. Thank your crystal for revealing information in truth, because only truth is supported. And then just remember going forward that the most important thing is applying the crystal message that you have got and the crystal guidance that you have received. After you have listened to the crystal message, you obviously want that help that the crystal has brought forward. And so the next best thing is usually to act on that information that is coming through to you, or that has been revealed to you through this meditation and listening process. Take a step in coming back into balance in the area that the crystal has helped you become aware of. Send love, light, forgiveness to your energy fields, your body, your organs, your cell, your cellular memory, your past, your present, your future. Act on that guidance and the ideas received. If you need to call someone, take that first step. If you need to love someone, take that first step. If you need to start healing yourself today, take that next step, because it's all about self-love, self-healing, and transformation. We can't give to others what we ourselves don't have. If you want to heal others, you have to heal. If you want to love others, you have to love. And the crystals are here to teach us that and to bring us freedom. Freedom in every sense of the word. So that's it. So Kim, if you have any questions for me?
First, I just want to say how awesome that was. That was amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh, that was wonderful. I'm going to want to do that again and again. And we do have a question from Tina from Rocky Point, New York. She says, what's a good crystal to use to clear your energy blocks?
A good crystal to use to clear your energy blocks, this is my own personal perspective, is any crystal that you're intuitively guided to pick. After you've gone through this exercise, truly is a good crystal for you. As long as you're intuitively guided to use any crystal. Before I used to think, well, I'm gonna use this crystal and that crystal. But after a while, I realized that when I looked at all my crystal babies, and I would ask them, which of you wants to help me in this process? Then I would know that that was the crystal for me to use. And that's why it's very important to have a relationship with your crystals as friends, because then you know this is my crystal for energy blocks, because you've learned about it, you have interacted with it to the point where you know what it's there for. And then you can tell, this is my crystal for this, and this is my crystal for that, and this is my crystal for that. So it's important to understand your crystals as friends, because you know where the benefits are, you know? So then when you need to clear certain energetic blocks, you know which crystal to turn to. But this is a hard thing. The interaction with crystals is a hard thing and a hard process. So I would probably ask Tina to probably go through her crystals and ask them, which of you want to help me through this process? And then listen to the crystal. And your friends are going to definitely speak up.
Oh, I love that answer. And I think this has been such an amazing hour and such a valuable hour. This whole event was created with the idea of helping us create relationships with the crystals and stones and be in partnership. And the energy you bring and everything that you've shared just helps us to do that so much. It's just been wonderful, Caroline. I also want to mention, I noticed on YouTube, because you have so many awesome videos that I really want to recommend to everybody, but I also saw that you're doing Google Hangouts too. What's that been like?
Yeah, the Google Hangouts really are for me to meet with other crystal lovers. It doesn't matter what stage of the crystal walk they're on, to allow them to explain that process to us, because I feel like when people on every level of their crystal journey have that chance to speak up about crystals. It just expands that energy. So that Google Hangout is for people to come in and share their experiences. Probably, why did you get into crystals? Because I want everybody out there to know about crystals. These beings are amazing. They're here. Their voice is here to be heard. And if I have that opportunity to create that venue where people of all walks of life, because sometimes people just don't have a chance to share their truth and to learn from each other and to interact with each other and to meet people of like minds who share the same passions. You know, people don't have that chance. So I'm trying to create a space for people on YouTube who are curious in their spiritual work to just realize that they're not alone. We're here, we've worked with crystals, we're continuing working with crystals, and we're learning and growing together and expanding this word about crystals. It's crystal power, you know. We're here. The beings are here, ready to speak,
I love that. And you've also got a special for the Telesummit listeners. And I've got a link up to it on the schedule and replay page. And also, Caroline's got her own page. It's crystaltelesummit.com/Caroline. And it's called a Stone Wisdom Consultation. Can you tell us more about it, Caroline?
Yeah, the Stone Wisdom Consultation actually came to me from my interaction with crystals, and the crystals that wanted to be used for that specific service really jumped out at me and basically explained to me why they were here in my life and that they were supposed to be used for that specific service, and they also gave me the name. Trust me, I would never in a million years have ever come up with something like that. It was an amazing experience. And I find it to be very useful. I find it to be a very useful tool in helping other people move forward. So you basically interact with the stones based on your energy, and a lot is revealed, and I coach you through that process of moving to the next level of your life and figuring out what's holding you back, what's keeping you in a holding pattern, and what you need to do to move forward. And it's basically not me. It's you and your energy interacting with the stones, and I guide you through the process, and you're off on your merry way into the next bright future that's ahead for you.
Oh, I love that. So if the listeners would like to find out more, you can click on the link there. And there are different options for how many questions you want to ask and how long of a time that Caroline spends with you, but check it out. And also, your website is Crystals Talk, so it's crystalstalk.com, and there's also a link to that at the Crystal Telesummit website at the bottom of Caroline's page. But tell us more about what you've got on your website, Caroline.
On my website, I do a lot of, actually now it's becoming more of working with crystals. I'm getting more into working with, doing a lot of crystal consultations and working with people who really love crystals. It's just amazing how life turns around. You know, sometimes I started off as a motivational coach, but my work with crystals has opened up avenues where I can use my coaching experience to work with people who are interested in energy work and working with crystals and discovering who they are. So I'm beginning to find out that my work is taking on a very spiritual kind of nature, a very exciting kind of nature that's more me, you know, me in truth, talking to others about how they can work with their own crystals to find out what their life path is. And it is so, so exciting. You know, because it makes sense, because you're in your truth and the other person is in their truth trying to discover themselves, and crystals are talking all the time. So it's easy to tell and to figure out a lot of things about people and where their life purpose is based on their passions, because when we create, we have to create from our hearts and we create from love. So it just falls along very nicely, and it's a happy place to be. I mean, I can't even tell you, but I'm sure you understand.
We do, and one of the things I love about you is the way that your energy just can really be felt, and it has a message all of its own that we can just absorb. So, yeah, it really does create that expansion. Just when we're talking together here, we really do get the idea. It's awesome. And your website is beautiful, so I really recommend people just go there and even just look at some of the images of the crystals. They're gorgeous.
Thank you.
Oh, it has been so nice having you here today. I've just enjoyed it so much, Caroline. Is there anything that you would like to? Oh, yeah, I'm so glad you could be part of this because it's just been wonderful. Is there anything that you'd like to add before we have to close?
Yes, I would like to say that the last thing that maybe I would love to leave everyone with is always do things that feel loving to you. things that bring you joy. I mean, I could say anything about crystals, but whatever it is you're doing, even in your interactions with crystals, always ask yourself, does this bring me love? Does this bring me joy? Do I feel love? Do I feel joy? If it doesn't, then check yourself. Everything we do should come from our hearts. They should make us feel so happy and so joyful. I mean, because a lot of things are not within our control. But when we choose to do something, let it be something loving and something that brings you joy. Let there be love and laughter, you know. That's the last thing that I would like to say. Even in your interactions with crystals, they're here to bring you joy and happiness. You might go through processes that bring a little bit of sadness, but it's all good. Dissolve it, work through it. In the end, it's going to be loving and it's going to be joyful. And at the end of your crystal journey, which hopefully never ends, you will be so amazed at how fast you have come. In 2012, I was nowhere within the place that I'm at right now. I'm a typical example of how your life can totally transform when you're committed to the process of transforming your life and when crystals come into your life. I'm forever crystals, always.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for being here with us, Caroline.
Thank you.
And, of course, I want to thank the crystals and stones for being part of our lives. And everyone listening, as you know, I'm just so glad to have you all with us on this journey. It's wonderful to come together, and it was especially wonderful to be together today. So thank you again for joining with us and opening our hearts to the crystals and stones. And remember, all the replays are on the schedule and replay page. There's no password or login necessary. And I've got another page up for you that you can check out with the same information. You might be able to it will maybe display a little bit differently for you. guardiangateway.com/crystal-telesummit-schedule-and-replay. And do go on over to facebook.com/guardiangateway. I love it when people post their ideas and inspiration and their experience with the calls. It's just wonderful. I really appreciate it. And I hope you'll join me again later today. We've got 2 calls. So if you listen to the call at 1 p.m., you'll hear Krista Burka, and then at 3, we've got a bonus call with Judy Hall. And these are both interviews that I pre-recorded. They're both very different, but both really wonderful. And I especially was happy to be able to add this bonus with Judy Hall for you. So make sure you don't miss that. She's the author of the Crystal Bible, and I just spent a wonderful hour with her. So remember those 2 calls today, and then Monday we've got 2 more calls. So until next time, this is Kim Wilborn wishing you all love and abundance.